all of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
But when you really, like, once I got really invested in music, you know, that's initially all I wanted to work, Steve. And then the film and television stuff, I started to look closer at it, and it was exciting. It's a challenge for me to be a part of those projects because the process is a little different. Like, instinctively, when I'm writing music, it's right the first time.
A baby oil is, it just go with everything. You can get baby oil on pizza. I done got it on pizza before. You taste it, you can't even hardly taste it. I done had baby oil all around my mouth before. I don't even know what's on there. It's just a baby oil type night. It's just baby oil. All right. Praise the Lord, baby oil.
50 Cent has been working on this documentary for almost 2 years. The footage he has is insane. The people he got speaking about Diddy is ridiculous.
When 50 Cent drops a cryptic message, the industry no longer shrugs it off. History has taught people that his warnings tend to arrive before disruption, not after it. This time, the message was cold and direct: your time is running out. No documents, no reports, no explicit targets. Yet almost instantly, one name began echoing across online platforms: Steve Harvey. That alone caught attention because Harvey symbolizes stability in entertainment, measured, faith-centered, family-oriented, and known for offering guidance rather than courting controversy. He positions himself as someone who has mastered the game of life and now teaches others how to win it. So why would someone like 50 Cent, fresh off a documentary that rattled Hollywood, even imply that Harvey could be in the frame? The answer isn't found in accusations, but in recurring patterns. That documentary wasn't just about wrongdoing. It highlighted silence, influence, and carefully chosen truths. And in moments like these, the quiet ones often draw more focus than the loudest voices. Steve Harvey has stayed completely silent, and that silence is the real pressure point of the story.
For some reason, Diddy, around the time of his arrest, thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be exonerated later, so I'm going to film all this, and then I can use it in my big comeback later when I'm not in jail. Didn't work out the way he thought, and it turns out he went to jail for a few years. All right, he didn't get the full amount, but he still got a few years. And 50 Cent somehow managed to pay for the footage off of the videographer. Probably Diddy's worst nightmare, this. It's got to be up there. Now, we're going to get into what's in the actual documentary, and hell, it's
50 Cent has spent years shaping his image as someone who understands how the entertainment world truly operates behind the curtain. He never claims to be a moral judge. Instead, he presents himself as someone who survived while watching others collapse around him. That's why his warnings carry more weight now than they did years ago. When his Netflix documentary Sean Combs, The Reckoning, premiered in early December 2025, it didn't just spark headlines, it confirmed a long-held belief that the situation went far beyond one individual. The story pointed to a powerful system built on protection, silence, and longevity. With Combs now facing confirmed federal consequences and an ongoing legal process, that chapter appears closed. What unsettled viewers, however, was the growing realization that the documentary only scratched the surface, hinting that the full truth may still be waiting in the shadows.
The core theme to be, you didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong on any front.
By the way, these conversations, the lawyer had no idea he was recording them. So when the lawyer's like, yeah, we need everyone to believe you did nothing wrong, it kind of takes away from when the lawyer is out in public saying, yeah, my client is completely innocent. And now he's showing the behind the scenes where he clearly didn't think he was very innocent. So not Diddy's smartest move. However, throughout this journey, you'll see he makes a lot of crazy decisions.
I don't think it's working. I've listened. I've been a superb client, as you said. I jumped on the plane. I'm coming to New York, but I'm just running around waiting for a shoe to drop.
He's himself right now, in case you can't tell, and he really doesn't look good.
It's the middle of September, and there's still no indictment.
Bro, then you have to have a spokesman. You have to have some sort of comms to constantly be pushing that, Mark. Because you may just be a person that you just may watch CNN. You know what I'm saying? And there's 9 billion people in the world, and 7 billion of them is on Instagram and TikTok.
He's basically trying to get control of the narrative. That's what he's really worried about. He wants public perception to be, this was all bullshit. Unfortunately for him, we'd all seen the CCTV of him beating the shit out to Cassie. So, like, we know you're not a good guy, man. That's out there. A statement from your solicitor is really not going to change that.
We have to find somebody that'll work with us, whether they from this country or from another country. It could be somebody that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business of media and propaganda.
We need to brainwash some motherfuckers right now, and we need people who are used to working with the dirtiest of dirty, because that's what he is, and he's admitting it. How could you let this footage fall into the hands of 50 Cent, my guy? And honestly, it always comes down to money with Diddy, because Diddy didn't get rich just because he was, you know, clever in music. Diddy got rich because he robbed people all the time, and him not taking care of the people around him, it just comes back to bite him a million times over.
It's like we have a movie, you're speaking this language, and you know what I'm saying, we need subtitles, and we're not providing the audience with subtitles. And I invited you to this movie, and you in this thing, you don't know what's going on. You just see, you just see the images, you know, quickly. Now it has a whole life of its own.
I gotta say, this whole doc was edited well. When he said you just see the pictures and they cut to the CCTV. Well done, 50. You nailed that, son. If you're going to take him down in style. So you get a clear window from the jump here into Diddy's psyche. He doesn't give a about Cassie or any of these girls. He doesn't give a fuck about anyone. It's save yourself mentality, and it's crisis mode. And you can see on his face, like, well, you know he's got a drug problem. This is at an all-time high of his drug taking, surely, because he is.
Other high-profile figures move the same way, erasing old posts, creating distance, and acting as if certain ties never existed. The real question circulating now isn't whether Steve Harvey broke the law, because there is no proof of that. It's whether he knew more than he ever chose to say. In Hollywood, awareness and action are judged very differently in court, but in the court of public opinion, those lines blur fast. That gray area is where speculation grows and narratives gain momentum. The conversation sharpened further when attention drifted back to Diddy's short-lived relationship with Lori Harvey in 2019, a detail that suddenly felt less random and more relevant within the broader pattern people were beginning to examine.
Tea to spill on P. Diddy, and this one ain't pretty, because it involves one of your most favorite television talk show hosts, Steve Harvey. Yes, apparently there's a little birdie going around Hollywood saying that in the late 90s, Diddy, which I know about this because I had a friend who worked detail on the party, invited Steve Harvey to one of his famous freak-offs and then recorded Steve Harvey in a very compromising position with somebody else, if you know what I mean, which doesn't bode too well for Mr. Family Man, you know what I mean? So the freak-off situation got pretty crazy. There was a tape circulating. I have seen the tape. But the problem here is Diddy has been blackmailing Steve Harvey for the last 25 years, including, and this is also some reports that I've been able to verify, Diddy was dating his daughter, as well as Diddy's son was dating his daughter. And people said reports that Diddy was using her as an ATM machine. This is disgusting to my core to hear accusations like this and to have to confess this to you people, but the truth must come to light. And all these disgusting stories will be heard.
Commentators brushed it off at the time, joking that the situation was being overanalyzed and that people were projecting their own issues onto it. They pointed out how relaxed and happy everyone looked during that overseas trip. Headlines focused on how close Diddy appeared with Lori Harvey, highlighting small details in photos and framing it as an unexpected but harmless pairing. What really caught attention, though, wasn't the romance itself. It was the proximity of Steve Harvey and the overlapping family connections surrounding the moment. Observers debated timelines, past associations, and whether boundaries had quietly shifted, while others argued that everyone involved had moved on and made their own choices. Some defended the situation by emphasizing close family bonds and personal freedom, while others felt certain lines should never be crossed, regardless of comfort or consent. In the end, the public response wrapped it all in a glossy bow, offering congratulations and smiles, even as unease lingered beneath the surface of what was being presented as a perfectly happy picture.
Diddy's son date her?
Yes, that cannot be true.
Sounds like someone's got Diddy issues. And by someone, we mean him. Because they actually look pretty happy.
Diddy and Lori Harvey, they're heating things up in Italy. Notice her arm is on the back of his chair.
Shocking! for some reason. But yes, Diddy's now getting super cozy with Steve Harvey's daughter, who Diddy's son, Justin Combs, used to hang out with.
I don't think that her and Justin were even that serious. They were just out in the club a couple times.
I think it's more interesting that Steve Harvey's there.
Survey says the number one most interesting thing about this photo is
Diddy and his son are Eskimo brothers.
And to make it more interesting,
So his son on this trip?
They were there. They're not in these pictures, but I think they left.
He is dating his son's ex-girlfriend when his son was there as well. But if his son's moved on, why not?
Puff has an unbelievably close relationship with all of his sons. I don't think it's something that he would do if it was a big, huge deal.
You like who you like. The exception to I like who I like is accept my son's exes.
so congrats, you two look really.
What once passed as celebrity gossip slowly transformed into something far heavier over time. Online commentators began reinterpreting the relationship as calculated rather than personal, with some suggesting it was encouraged to reinforce industry connections, while others went even further with claims of hidden arrangements, none of which were supported by documents, credible witnesses, or confirmation from anyone involved. These narratives exist entirely within the digital rumor space, but speculation spreads fastest when it aligns with beliefs people already hold. For decades, there have been whispers about the darker reputation of Diddy's gatherings, long before any documentary brought renewed focus. That backdrop led audiences to ask harder questions, especially as Steve Harvey never publicly addressed or acknowledged the rumors in any direction. In the modern attention economy, silence doesn't stall a narrative, it accelerates it. More extreme online theories even dragged his name into unverified claims involving secret recordings and coercion, despite no reliable source ever confirming such material or linking it to him, and many of these stories being flagged as misinformation. Yet they continue to circulate, largely because recent revelations confirm that extensive private recordings were part of that wider world, keeping suspicion alive even where proof does not exist.
Justin Combs got to be the dumbest motherfucker walking the planet, though. Why would he be recording all of that shit leading
How did
up?
50 get that footage?
Yeah, that's the great part.
I heard
so like the first 10 minutes, and it's like footage from Diddy right before he got arrested.
They said because Diddy was either shooting a documentary or had somebody filming everything.
Yeah.
So he bought the footage from that company?
That would be my guess.
That's hilarious.
That's what I heard. So I heard something like that. I don't know. But why would you be recording that if you did it?
I think he thought
he was going to get off.
Beat it, and then he would have a document of him overcoming the situation.
But showing what?
I mean, it's nothing like particularly inflammatory. It's just him going around the city and talking to his attorneys and trying to figure it out. But it's juxtaposed against, they have a lot of incredible archival footage. Like, they really spent a lot of money. And when you look at it, you're like, God, like, Diddy really has been in the press for 35, 40,
basically his whole life.
And they go way, way back. Like, I
heard they go back to the basketball game. And
before that, I mean, there's pictures of him in Mount Vernon as like a 5-year-old kid, childhood friends. Like, it's very thorough. I mean, the one criticism I've read, and I don't know how fair it is it doesn't delve into the victim stories as much as it could, but I'm only 2 episodes in, and there is one woman in, I think, episode 1, and it's like a very emotional scene where she recounts some of the stuff that happened to her. Like, I think it's well done so far.
I'm gonna watch it this weekend. I just, for me, it's just like, I don't know why you would be recording that, because from the clips that I saw, it just seems like the highest level of arrogance, and it seems like he's just trying to manipulate his way out of the situation.
He talks about that on the tape.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow. Like, this is how we're going to play the media. This is how we're going to manipulate the media.
What?
Wow.
Oh, but imagine if you're recording it thinking you're going to make the doc. He wasn't thinking he's going to put any of that.
Don't say that out loud.
It's like the book example. Yeah, it's all right if she writes a book because we'll go back and edit it. What happened is they recorded it. They probably thought they could edit it and frame it how they wanted to, and then fell apart. And I'm guessing whoever filmed it was like, well, he's never going to buy this footage from me because he's in jail now. And then 50's tapped in.
Oh, I have to see this.
But my point is, why would I ever be talking like that in front of anybody? Even if I felt that way, why would I be having that conversation to be recorded?
Well, that's one of the themes in the doc, is that at a certain point, and they trace it back to City College, because he skated on that, essentially, he believed he was untouchable.
Skated on Shine. Did they talk about that?
Yeah, we haven't even the first episode, it's still Uptown Records, right? And they have some really like crazy footage from inside the event at City College, which I've never seen before. And you can see him in the middle of like the chaos. It's pretty damning footage.
Wow.
And the case that's made is he beat that. He had no business beating that. The label at that time wanted him gone. Andre Harrell fought for him, kept him around. And then once he got past that, he's like,
I can do anything.
I can do anything. I just had an event and 9 people got killed. And I'm the king of New York.
I'll tell you one thing too, man. A lot of people saying like, you know, they think 50's being vindictive. To those people, I say,
the history between 50 Cent and Sean Diddy Combs has never been loud warfare, but rather a slow burning tension shaped by 2 very different paths out of New York. Diddy rose from inside the industry, mastering influence, access, and relationships until he became a gatekeeper of opportunity. Meanwhile, 50 Cent survived outside that structure, forced to build power through independence after being pushed aside early on. When his breakout came in the early 2000s, it arrived on his own terms, driven by resilience, loyalty, and a refusal to seek approval. Over time, 50 Cent used sharp humor and pointed commentary to challenge industry figures, Diddy included, while Diddy largely stayed quiet, reinforcing the contrast between behind-the-scenes control and open resistance. That divide fueled speculation about unseen dynamics and unnamed figures, where imagination quickly turns possibility into assumed truth. The facts, however, remain steady. Steve Harvey has not been investigated, charged, or publicly implicated in any wrongdoing. His shows continue, partnerships remain strong, and his career shows no visible impact. Conditions that weaken rumors rather than validate them. Still, questions persist about his choice to remain silent instead of issuing a clear denial. In Hollywood, silence can signal strategy, caution, or personal resolve, and uncertainty is the environment where conspiracy narratives grow fastest. One of the most unsettling takeaways from Sean Combs' The Reckoning wasn't who appeared, but who didn't. As online discussions zeroed in on several high-profile names rumored to have been excluded due to legal sensitivity or influence, it reinforced the sense that the full story may still extend beyond what the public has seen.
Snoop started hanging out with Diddy. And, you know, he also speaks on how, you know, Snoop, he did the Steve Harvey show with Diddy after Tupac got killed. Check this out.
Okay. It's downloading right now.
Then you look at the scenario, how everybody used Pac to make their stuff famous or make their project better. You got people who use their songs for Pac and tell them how much they love Pac, but they do songs for Puffy. You got Steve Harvey, you know, this mother telling, well, Pac, according to everybody else, he brings Snoop and Puffy on there and say, these are dudes who's running this in the East Coast, West Coast.
What's up, Snoop?
What's up, huh? Hey, whoa. Wait a minute, fellas here. Hold up. You know, I know all about this East Coast, West Coast rivalry thing here, but we in Chicago now. This rivalry stuff, we gotta stop it, man. We stop that, we stop a lot of this violence.
Yo, Steve, check this, man. All that East Coast, West Coast stuff is a bunch of media hype. It's been my dog from day one, you know what I'm saying? It's all good between me and him. That's my peoples.
For real, that's what we came in for. We came in and light it up and ride it up. We make music, man. Now, Pac, if you love Pac so much, how you with the mother that everybody say got something to do with the first get down that happened to Pac in New York, then the second one.
We're shutting down the idea of after parties. No after parties tonight, okay? None. Take it home after this. That's why I did it on a Monday. I did it on a Monday. People got to go to work tomorrow. No after parties. That's where it gets slippery at them after parties. Okay? We're learning a lot about people, ain't we? We're learning a lot.
Honestly, it looked to me like you could hear some laughter. There was laughter.
Yeah.
It was funny, but it's like people were on camera and didn't want to seem like they were laughing.
BET Awards positions themselves as the culture's biggest night, and once upon a time, Diddy was a big part of this culture. You know,
Right.
his after parties, you know, were a part of the BET experience. So, you know, life comes at you fast, but, you know, Kevin had to address the elephant in the room.
Yo, you see how people act when you won't let them come on stage and get a fake apology so they can promote that little whack song?
As far as receipts, here is what Mace had to say about that.
Yo, I did this. Talking about he want receipts. Let's start with your mother. Your mother got the receipts. Everything is in your mother's name. That's the one who got the receipt. You need more proof? Biggie ain't here, so Big can't give you no receipts. He dead. Craig Mack can't give you receipts. He dead. What are you talking about? Who else? Black Rob can't give you receipts. He dead. And everybody else you made sign paperwork so they can't talk about what I'm talking about. I'm the only one with the guts. You're not signing. Because I ain't need the money. All money ain't good money. Remember that. You know who to play with.
I want to know what Justin Bieber, I want to know. Justin Bieber, look at his life change. His man life, that man is terrified of Puffy. I seen the video. I'm in the streets, dog. People know, fear, dog. Be like, what happened to your number? You like, oh, man, I lost it. Fear, man. You got to think of all the people, the white folks who've been at the parties. They scared. They don't roll in crowds with niggas and guns. When they get slapped in the mouth at a party for being too high, they shut up. You get what I'm saying? You got to think of all these people who've been terrified for years. Everybody. But see, people understand. I can say this because I've been saying it while he was out. I'm one of the few people been calling this out for years. They ain't scared of who. I've been telling this nigga, where you at? I'm not scared of you. Not saying I'm bad or nothing, but I'm saying like, I got the right to speak. I'm not trying to kick him while he down or something. I've been looking in his camera for the longest, telling you I don't like you. I don't like nobody around you, and I don't like what you did to me. I woke up one day, I was 40 years old, didn't have a home, didn't have nothing. I'm like, what the happened?
Alongside them, other well-known names, such as Meek Mill Usher and Clive Davis, were pulled into the conversation circulating widely online not because of proof, but because speculation tends to spread fastest once momentum builds and uncertainty takes over.
What's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I didn't know who the Usher was. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those type of situations. And when somebody say, yo, man, I'm getting out that industry and everything like that. Puff sent this little kid to the hospital. How he sent him to the hospital? Man, bleeding from and that's what was said. I didn't even have a name for the kid at the time. Then you heard, and that's what happened. And that's just, that's something that you heard. You don't know if it's true. You just heard it. So, and just to hear this and this new thing where they saying that they got kids coming forward and said that he did that, man, that's crazy. And like I just said, that's just something that I heard. It's something that I didn't know. It's something that I ain't see. A lot of people want to, because Gene Deal has spoken on certain things that I've heard, I have spoken on it. But then they were just trying to say, I know. No, I'm not scared to say what I heard. And if there's any truth to it, then it's truth to it. Let them find it. Things that I've saw or things that I've witnessed and been a part of, I've said it. I'm not afraid to say what I saw or what I didn't see. A lot of people want to make up. I don't make up things. When I say Puff go in the room with two girls, you understand, and another guy and a rapper, and then all of a sudden they cousin try to go in the room, I throw them up against the piano, they run out the room grabbing towels, and they still had two girls in the room. But people want to make up a lot of bull and say what they want to say and flip it the way they want to.
A lot of people are curious about the status of P. Diddy.
Status of what?
P. Diddy. Diddy.
Like Puppy. The status of Puppy.
What do you make of that situation? Right. No comment from Clive Davis on P. Diddy. Mr. Davis, you're a major influence on the career of P. Diddy. Have you spoken to him since the federal raid?
Yes.
Have you spoken to Sean Combs? Any comment, Mr. Davis? Any comments about Diddy? He credits you as one of his mentors.
Each name carried its own history, baggage, and set of theories. Some were framed as victims, others as observers, and a few as untouchable power brokers, because including them outright could have sparked lawsuits, stalled releases, or triggered industry-wide consequences. Steve Harvey was never officially listed among those figures, yet his name drifted to the edge of the conversation as people noticed a recurring theme. Exposure in Hollywood isn't accidental, it's negotiated. Some stories are told in full, while others are carefully edited. That reality unsettles audiences, because when information is filtered, silence starts to look suspicious by default. Harvey's continued lack of fallout, combined with his refusal to address the rumors, has fueled the belief that certain figures are shielded, not necessarily by innocence, but by the potential damage their exposure could cause. When Cat Williams spoke in early 2024 about industry deception and hidden behavior, many brushed it off as exaggeration, even though he pointed to Diddy long before any verdict. Now, those clips are being replayed less as comedy and more as caution. He never named Steve Harvey, but his criticism of moral branding, public virtue paired with private compromise, made people uneasy because it challenged the images they trust most. Harvey's brand is built on discipline, faith, and guidance. When a figure like that is even loosely linked to controversy, the reaction intensifies, not because of evidence, but because of contrast. That's the pressure point 50 Cent understands. Questioning an image can be more powerful than making an accusation. And by hinting instead of naming, he lets the audience draw its own conclusions, while watching Steve Harvey's silence more closely than ever.
It's clear they had some issues with Pac, and Pac died, and all of a sudden you chilling with Puffy. Back then, it just, okay, now you can say what you want. You go all grandfathers, I guess. You know what I mean? That's different now. But back then, I think it was weird. It was tasteless. You know what I mean? It didn't seem like you really had that much love for Pac. You could have just, you know what I mean? Unless he pressured them or like questioned Puffy, like, yo, what's up with this? What's up with that? Then you could say, you know what I mean? No problem. Like somebody said, okay, I believe somebody mentioned that they seen a video with me and the dude Prodigy or one of the dudes from ID, as if I was with. They don't know the backdrop of that. I went to his hotel room ready to fight. Like, bro, I'll fight everybody in that room one-on-one. Even if I lose, it doesn't matter. The Outlaws was with me. My homie Tiny, the Mexican homie, was with me. I didn't go there and say, let me get in a video with these guys. I went there knocking on their door. Doom, doom, doom. Tell them dudes to come out. What's up with y'all? What's up with you and Pac? You got a problem with Pac? Because we could just fight like man to man, face to face, and then shake hands. That was my approach with them. But when they told me they didn't have no problem, I don't mind being with you. You know what I mean? I don't mind shaking your hand because they told me they had love for Pac. So that's different. You know what I mean? If he come out and say, well, I already, I questioned Puffy about it. I believe that he didn't, he loved Pac. That's my opinion. I can move the way I want to move. So when people try to, I noticed somebody, I think on your page do that. Well, Napoleon was in the video with Mobb Deep. They don't know how I got in that video with Mobb Deep. You know what I mean? I pulled up on him but I'm the type of person, I never been a bully type of person. You know what I mean? If I talk to a person like a man and they tell me face to face, look, I got love for Pac, I'm comfortable to know if I can look in their eyes, if I believe what they said, I have the right to say, okay, no problem. I believe you. You know what I mean? And maybe that's what Snoop went through. I don't know. But let the people know because it was too early back then. Pac just had died. You know what I mean? Like he had the right to say, the reason why I'm rolling with Puffy, I questioned him about my homie. He gave me this answer. So then he did what he had to do. But it just, you know what I mean? I never really agree with that, to be honest. The same way I couldn't be on the stage with him. When they wanted to do that tribute, I just couldn't do it. Like I really felt in my heart, like, man, I can't believe this is about to happen.
To be clear, as of today, there are no charges against Steve Harvey, no lawsuits, no investigations, and no verified evidence tying him to any wrongdoing. What remains is silence, erased public praise, and a warning that stays deliberately vague. 50 Cent continues to imply without naming. The internet keeps filling in the blanks, and Steve Harvey offers no response at all. In an industry where clarity often arrives years after the fact, that quiet leaves people debating whether there's truly nothing to address, or whether speaking would unlock doors better left closed. That tension leads to the real question in Hollywood: is silence proof of innocence, or simply the safest move when the truth is too complex for a sound bite? Share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for more updates. And until next time, stay sharp.